Avatar is back, baby! Kinda. Sorta. They didn't give us the continued animated series that we was all asking for. No, but they did give us a live action. A live action, yeah, live action, yeah. You know, that's what we was all asking for, you know, since it went so well the first time, we was ready to try it again. Clearly, the live-action Avatar: The Last Airbender TV series, a television series based on the beloved and rightfully so banger of an animated show, a show that combined Chinese and Western folklore to give us kickboxing, martial art, triathlete, magic wizard people in a world with spirits, dragons, dragon spirits, a timeless show written over the course of several lengthy seasons. And for a show like this, juggling so many different IPs, it's hard enough trying to fit all that within your story. Imagine then trying to take that story, condense it to fit within your narrative, while also saying, fuck the source material, I'ma just do my own thing. Add a little something here, little something here. Were you supposed to be in this season? Who fucking cares? Yeah, this show is cheeks, guys, straight bungalows. But praise where praise is due. I will say, compared to other live action projects, I didn't get the vibe that the team behind the making of this didn't care, as there are things that both OG fans and newer fans can appreciate, you know, if just passively. No, I think they just wrote a shitty script, you know, bloated with so much stuff. They just kept adding shit, bro. They was like, fuck it, add more shit, just fucking add more shit. By the way, this video will contain spoilers. You know, you can't chisel a mountain with a small pick. So let's start with the good, or at least the more subjective good, because I'll be honest with y'all, there's a lot of bad in this script. Yeah, a lot of not good.
Let it fall, and you win.
So dessert first will obviously make the rest of the meal taste better. Aang, the pro tag of the series, played by the 14-year-old Canadian actor Gordon Cormier. Hope I'm saying that right. From what I could find, essentially his first big role in the spotlight. And the kid is solid, you know, as far as kids go, very minimal acting complaints. He has enough personality in his delivery to really give off that kid energy. He's a bit awkward, clearly unprepared to be the Avatar, which is repeated a lot. I'm not gonna lie to you. Pretty much every episode, somebody is telling this motherfucker he's some ass. 100 years with no points on the board. But he's great, you know, even in the quieter moments where he has to be sad, like Gyatso's death. Nah, why they got my man's jaw like that? This is not how he was in the original. This is just unnecessary slander. Gyatso in the spirit world, don't ask. Or the moon spirit dying. You know, his crying face a million times better than mine. Katara, the motherbird of the group, played by Tio Tarbell. Guys, I'm trying. Same as Aang for me. I wasn't massively distracted by her performance. The moments she needed to hit, she did. Based on the fact that they cut out a lot of her jealousy phase that she had against Aang in the first season, instead just hammering home that compassionate mother figure role, having some kind of quote for any dour situation.
I can't imagine what it's like, knowing you'll have to save the world. But avoiding practice doesn't mean you'll avoid the responsibility.
Gran must have had a book of quotes, because ain't no way in hell she was saying all these phrases off the cuff. I watched this show with a friend of mine, and he said that Katara being as nasty as she was by the time she fought Paco was a bit BS, to which I said, yeah, that's true. That's true. That's true. Yeah, that's true. In the series, it feels like that even more so because a lot of her bending misplays are cut out. There's a couple, but you know, eyebrow raise. Boomerang Sokka, motherfucker. Okay, I put him on the good side of the show, but honestly, I don't think I've narrowed down my take on him yet. Same with everyone else on Twitter, by the way. I don't dislike him, but he didn't have such a strong presence that I was like, oh, this guy stands out. Oh, he's the guy. Oh, he's him. Oh. Now, even his Sokka jokes, I didn't laugh. I didn't cringe. It was just like a, okay, go next moment, you know? Except one scene. This scene was funny.
Well, I mean, look at this.
Those are for cleaning under your toenails. It can get bloody.
Yeah, that scene was funny. And this was me just taking him as he is, not even trying to compare him to the GOAT. Ozai! They gave Ozai screen time! Screen time for Ozai! Let's go, Ozai! They gave him back-to-back bangers, dog. Dae Kim carrying the performance so well. God, I love him.
That is what makes us the Fire Nation. That is why we sacrifice the 41st Division. That is what you must do.
Ozai being the overarching villain, of course, but you get mere snippets of him up until the 3rd season. So having him shown early in this show, as well as being prominent in most of Zuko's flashback, was a nice change. Especially the Agni Kai between him and Zuko, ending with Ozai having his hand over Zuko's heart, telling him, you know, compassion is weakness. Gyatso, which again, showing Aang and Gyatso first before the destruction of the air nomads. Smart, you know, creates that initial care before he dies. The scene at his son's funeral where he's just quiet the whole time into crying, you know, beautiful addition. Chef's Kiss indeed. Probably the best deviation they added in the whole show, to be honest. June. Just great. Besides that one weird moment, I expect to see her a whole lot on the Twitter timeline for reasons. Bonus character appreciation. Han. They made Han a fucking Chad. I'm writing this as I finish the season, okay? And that one just blew my fucking mind because I was like, dog, oh, it's Han. You know, no one gives a fuck about Han. He was a dick. You know, no one really cares. But they was like, nah, Han's gonna be a pretty chill dude. And then they killed him. They killed fucking Han, dog. The action was muy fuego for the most part. What am I even looking at? Nowhere near as amazing as a very successful movie, of course. But it was good, you know, especially when they used minimal CGI instead of just showing like reasonable kicks and blows to each other.
Gas. That shit was gas.
Pretty much every episode has like one big fight scene, which looks good and fluid, you know, for the most part. The standouts for me being the very start of the series with the air nomads versus Sozin and the fall of the Northern Water Tribe. The destruction shown on screen was just fucking cool to watch, you know? The locations in general, when they transition from place to place, looks faithful for the most part. It just looks good, you know? Combine that with the costumes and the set design they have for each location. It does a good job of making like each place feel distinct or unique in their own way. And it, you know, it feels like you're actually traveling to these different places, you know? Nightmare fuel Spirit World, though, you know, some things you just can't unsee. All right, no more cake. Cake is gone. Gone. Now let's talk about the bad, the clunky exposition.
Earth, fire, air. Long ago, the four nations lived together in harmony.
Bruh. The weird character inclusions, the pointless character assassinations, the absolute fuduckle of scene changes. This script has the same energy as if when you put your food in the microwave for like 2 minutes, but accidentally put 20 and 5 minutes into cooking it, it just fucking explodes.
Being the Avatar means putting your duties above all.
Yo. Why are you yelling? I'm right here. You know, up until episode 3, pacing-wise, the show was doing okay. They crammed the Aang's flashback, the iceberg meeting, the Aang capture, and the Southern Temple breakdown all in the first episode, while diverting the entire second episode to the Kyoshi Warriors. Suki! But episode 3, boy, that's when I noticed the several different writers and directors for each episode, which just seeing that wasn't getting my hopes up for the rest of the season. We was jumping around so much, I had briefly forgot what season we was covering. They had Jet, Tio, Azula, Ozai, Zhao doing some fuck shit, Bumi reveal, Zuko versus Aang all in the same episode, which is a lot, but the thing about it is my issue doesn't lie with some of these like story arcs getting slammed together within reason. Like if you wanted to combine Tio and Jet being in the Earth Kingdom at the same time for like this episode, you know, that works. But the main thing for me is like what all this setup does for the following episodes. For those unaware, Aang gets captured in this episode by Earth Kingdom soldiers, you know, because of his fight with Zuko, leading to an early confrontation with Bumi. And because Aang was the only one captured, not Katara or Sokka, the entire plotline with Bumi holding them hostage with crystals and testing Aang over and over till he realizes who he is, it has to be changed, right? The entire build-up reveal of Bumi is dropped.
Bumi?
Okay, Aang just figures out who he is immediately, but the writers also wanted to keep Bumi testing Aang over and over again as a plot point. So how do we do that? Well, by turning Bumi into a cynical, pessimistic, jaded, defeatist, suicidal, angry, I'm running out of words, crackhead. They made Bumi blame Aang for not being there in the war. His friend, his only friend. Again, don't fix what ain't broke. The trials Bumi gave Aang in the animated show acted as a valuable lesson, pushing Aang to creatively think outside the box, a skill he would surely need in his upcoming fights against future enemies. He wasn't aiming to kill or have Aang kill him to prove that.
Oh, you'll have to be a little more creative than that.
Bumi functioned as the only friend Aang had left after everyone he knew was wiped out. What a weird angle to take with him, as it doesn't help Aang progress as a character at all. The only reason I can see why they changed it is to reinforce the theme that they were going for, that Aang is to blame for all this, that he should have been there, that he should have stepped up. This theme is told over and over again, with Katara and Gyatso being the only ones to say otherwise, the latter being fucking dead. Zhao is just pure cornball energy. He's nothing but a showman, making moves behind Zuko's back the entire show, lacking any intimidation.
I'd be thinking less about my past and more about my future.
Any sly charisma he had prior.
Tell me, how does it feel to be the only airbender left?
Do you miss your people?
He has one fight in the series, and that's against Zuko, which he loses very fast, and then he gets burnt to a crisp and thrown off a bridge. Okay, guess I won't see you traversing the spirit world, bro. Roku's avatar state completely cut. You know, instead we get him floating around as a fucking force ghost, cracking jokes and shit.
And to avert your eyes and hop on one leg.
Thanks, guys. I really needed those extra scenes of Azula beating up fodder and delivering cringe lines. I knew seeing her in the trailer that it was gonna give her scenes that just didn't need to be added yet, as she doesn't have any confrontation with our cast up until season 2. Not just her, but May and Ty Lee as well, which Ty Lee, cringe. May, emo, cringe. God, they are so bland, man. They tried justifying all the scenes that she was in by having her constantly send messages back and forth with Zhao, which... just nah. Honestly, considering how they showed Ozai off rip and had him feature in a lot of flashbacks, what a perfect chance it could have been to then do the reverse with Azula this season. Make her the mysterious villain in black, only hearing vague mentions of her, with her name finally being dropped by Zhao in the finale, followed either by this scene or this one as the closeout for the season as it was in the original, making every fan watching the show excited to see Azula perform, as what we would have gotten would have just been a taste, you know? Instead, she uses screen time that could be devoted to anything, literally anything else, to be honest, and save all her shit for season 2. Zuko, there was a reason he wasn't on the good side. He's not as bad as Bumi or Azula. On the flip side, I think the writers played him way too safe. There's a reason that people constantly reference Zuko as one of the greatest story redemption arcs in fiction, and I think it's because Zuko as a character has such extreme emotions. His compassion fighting with his need to be valued by his dad causes that angry boy to come out in the first place. The outlet being directed at Iroh for the majority of the first season. Why'd I say that? Well, because that passion just ain't there, Chief. He ran! The Zuko I just described is desperate. It's the reason he appears so obsessive with the Avatar and restoring that pride in the first place. It's the reason he treats Iroh like shit, not realizing what he has close to him until way later in the series. It's the reason that the most significant moment between him and Aang in the first season is the Blue Spirit episode, in which Aang is the one that reaches out to Zuko, and Zuko, still very much struggling with that feeling, attempts to burn that connection. Zuko in the Netflix series, outside of very few moments, he doesn't give off that nearly as desperate energy to catch the Avatar at all costs, to burn anything in his way. He's pretty reasonable. He listens and agrees with anything Iroh says, you know, even if it's just wasting time, you know, and don't even get me started on his yelling. Oh. He ran! He ran! He ran! Holy, I'm a poet. Another example of show don't tell that the show is the biggest offender of. Just non-stop yappage. Need a character to tell you what's going on? Yappage. Need a character to describe everything you're feeling? Yappage. Need a character to tell you their entire history in one convo? Yappage. It's so long, even when they're expressing themselves, there's rarely a sense of like tact, you know, of subtlety. That's probably why I hyped up the Iroh scene so much. One says a whole lot while saying very little. The other says a whole lot.
If we knew each other back then, do you think we could have been friends too?
Goat hair. It's stiffer, more control.
Bruh. So yeah, Avatar, based on the ratings I've seen and just word of mouth, I'm not super hopeful for a season 2, but as a fan, I would hope that they iron out a lot of these issues and like really nail it down for the second season if they're gonna continue, or, you know, they could just give back the animated fucking show. Anyway, especially because they would be introducing my goat and seeing her butchered in live action. Oh my God. I don't know if I could recover from that, you know, mentally, physically. I think I would just die. Let me know what y'all think about the series or what I've had to say. You know, if you agree, yeah, disagree, yeah, now let me know down below or on my socials, which will also be linked down there. Yeah, it's closing out the video. I'm tired. If you got any recommendations, let me know. Adios, twinkle toes.